What is going on, everybody? Andre Dorsey here with DM Gaming for the DM Gaming Morning Show. Want to welcome everybody. And sorry, y'all, still haven't got my laptop. It should be here any minute now as it's being shipped UPS Smart Post, which means my post office is going to be the one delivering that. Yes, I went down there yesterday. I don't like to wait for stuff. People that know me know that. And so it's I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, it'll be here. So tomorrow's morning show should be a little bit better. Try to get some audio clips and things of that nature in there for us to listen to. So you don't just have to listen to my boring self-talk. But be that as it may, let's get down to it. The DM Gaming Morning Show, y'all. And kicking off the show, of course, the Bears and Mitchell Trubisky with his first start in the NFL. Didn't get the W, but did show signs of promise. He didn't pass for over 200 yards, didn't have a spectacular day through the air, but he played well enough. He did throw an interception late in the game, on a drive where they potentially could have won the game. But one thing people have to understand, some people may get upset at that, but you really can't because he's a rookie. And after all, Mike Glennon was throwing interceptions as well. So, what's the difference? But there is promise there. There is hope. And I think that's all that the Chicago Bears are looking for at this point going forward. I don't think that organization looks to win a Super Bowl. I don't even know if they're looking to make the playoffs. I think at this point in time in this season, they're looking to just save face and not be the worst team in the NFL while building up and enhancing their rookie quarterback. So that's the tell of that. And my prediction was that the Bears would win that game because I didn't see the weapons that Minnesota would have that could compete with them. I knew the game would be close, so we were accurate in that regard. Sam Bradford going down in the first half, aggravating that injury, and it's just wow, just wow. But all in all, he did good. He did pretty much as expected, unless you were over expecting, in which he didn't upset in that category either. But the Bears go down with the loss while Mitchell Trubisky did look promising going forward in the future. So kudos there. More in the NFL, in a sense, the Miami Dolphins offensive coordinator, he stepped down, he resigned, he was going to get fired anyway, more than likely. After video surfaced of him using illegal substance, we'll just leave it at that. And I don't know, you have people who are upset that this woman, this exotic dancer, leaked this. And I don't understand that because nobody made the guy do this. However, one people have to understand this. How many coaches you think are using illegal substances? Yeah, people bust the players and stuff like that all the time. But do you really think it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is going on? It's like, really? It's 2017. These types of things are going on. Anytime millions of dollars are involved, somebody's using some kind of substances somewhere. Be it players using, growth hormones and things of that nature, or stressed out coaches using illegal drugs. It goes on. It happens. Only thing is, some people get caught, some people don't. That's just how it goes. So to me, I'm not making much light of this situation. He got caught. Hey, I think his situation is worse dealing with his family than dealing with the NFL. After all, he was there with the Dolphins. He's been in coaching since 1992. He's been coaching for a very long time, but he's only been with the Dolphins a short while. But he was $1 million. I think he made, what is it? His contract was for over $2 million or $1.2 million, somewhere in the neighborhood of between $1 and $2 million. So he was making pretty good money. And to me, it's just another example to show people that just because you have money doesn't mean you're going to be an outstanding person, doesn't mean you're going to stay out of trouble, doesn't mean that things can't happen to you. Money doesn't protect you from everything. In some instances, money actually opens the door to other things. But I digress. Let's get to some college football, y'all, because college football is approaching. NFL is in the books. We're looking forward. Tomorrow, you have a game between Troy, who's coming off of the huge upset that they pulled against USC, Troy 4-1 on the season. Playing against South Alabama, who's 1-4. And you know what would be bad for Troy is if they lost to Southern Alabama. But you know what? We've seen things like that happen in college football. But that's a Wednesday night game at 8 o'clock p.m. Thursday night, you have Texas State 1-5 facing off against Louisiana. They're 2-3. The Raging Cajuns. University of Louisiana Lafayette. And then Friday, not Saturday, but Friday, you have two big-time games, y'all. We have two big-time games going on Friday. Number 2, Clemson, undefeated, facing off against a 3-3 Syracuse team. Clemson coming off of a very tight win. But they did get the W, still remain undefeated. I really don't like that Clemson is number 2. First of all, they're defending national championships, for Christ's sakes. And they've played and beaten more ranked teams than Alabama has. Come on, make them number 1. But I digress. That game is at 7 o'clock p.m. Friday, October 13th. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you would want to play a football game on October 31st. On October 13th. I'm sorry. Y'all, the reason I say October 31st is because when I was in high school, one of my coaches, Michael Hill, he never liked playing football games on October 31st. He said he's never won a football game on October 31st. And sure enough, we didn't win on October 31st. But I digress. Friday, October 13th, the scariest night of the year. And it's in October of all places. Friday the 13th already has so much stereotypical stipulations to it. Not to mention that it's in the month of October. And 13 backwards is 31. Halloween. I don't know, y'all, I'm just throwing out there. Could it be the night that Clemson gets upset by Syracuse? Or could Washington State be upset by California? Both teams are undefeated. Clemson and Washington State are both 6-0. They're both in the top 10. And Syracuse and Cal are both 3-3. I'm just saying, that's a lot of threes in there. There's a lot of multiples of threes. 6-0, 3-3. October 13th, 2017, it's going down. Clemson's game is at 7 o'clock. Washington State plays Cal at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, of course. And then Saturday, Arkansas 2-3 facing off against Alabama 6-0, number 1 in the land. Can Arkansas pull the upset? It's going to be an interesting game. That's not going to be a game that you just chalk it up to Alabama, because in the SEC, especially any given Saturday, the true definition, that game is at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. 7:30 p.m. Missouri 1-4 faces off against number 4 ranked Georgia Bulldogs at 6-0. Followed by another at 10:45 p.m. game, number 5 Washington 6-0 facing off against a 2-3 Arizona State team. I'm gonna tell y'all something about this weekend in college football. I think that this weekend in college football will define the end result of the NCAA football season. This week, mark my words, this week, starting tomorrow with Troy, because if Troy can beat Southern Al, and some of these teams who I'm going to mention are on upset alert fall, we could see Troy bust into the top 25 easily. Except for Thursday night game, Texas State and Louisiana Lafayette. That's just a game for a game. But really paying attention to Friday with Clemson and Syracuse. Washington, I'm putting Washington State on upset alert against Cal. I think Clemson handles Syracuse pretty heavily. Clemson, I don't see Syracuse being a challenge there. But Alabama and Arkansas, I'm putting Alabama in upset alert. Missouri and Georgia, why not? Let's put all the top 10, top 25 teams on upset alert. I don't know if Georgia has any trouble with Missouri. I think Georgia comes out and beats Missouri. Arizona State and Washington, I'm thinking Washington's in upset alert. TCU, number 6 in the land, not getting any respect, facing off against a 3-2 Kansas State team who's coming off against a loss against Texas. TCU, as much as I love you guys, Jeff Gladney's New Boston on, I'm putting TCU on upset alert. Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the top 10 and the top 25 that are on upset alert. This is upset alert Saturday. How about that? Dmgaming is saying it first. Y'all hearing it here live. This Saturday, Friday, this weekend of college football is upset alert weekend. I'm telling you, watch and see. Purdue 3-2 facing off against a 5-0 Wisconsin team. Wisconsin number 7 in the land. Upset alert. Don't count out the Boilermakers. Ohio State and Nebraska. Ohio State 5-1, number 9 in the land, facing off against a 3-3 Nebraska team who's struggling to find themselves, but could potentially find it that night against to me, an overrated Ohio State team. I'm putting Ohio State on upset alert. Auburn, LSU. LSU coming off of a big bounce back win against Florida. Auburn 5-1, number 10 in the land. I'm putting Auburn on upset alert. This is LSU's chance to prove themselves. Even though they beat Florida last week, Auburn is ranked. This is their time to say, hey, that loss against Mississippi State was a fluke. I'm putting Auburn on upset alert. Y'all see what I'm saying? Georgia Tech, 3-1, facing off against a 4-0 Miami team who's 11 in the land. Miami feeling themselves. They're feeling like the old you of old time. Miami, upset alert. Georgia Tech has been known to pull the upset. Georgia Tech runs an offense that is extremely hard to play against defensively. And then the Cotton Bowl, number 12, Oklahoma, 4-1, playing against a 3-2 Texas team. Oklahoma coming off of that gut-wrenching loss to Iowa State. Oklahoma's on the upset alert. They're overrated. In my opinion, Oklahoma is overrated. Texas gets the W and throws the college football world into a loop. You see what I'm saying? How did Texas lose to USC? USC lost to Washington State. Washington State potentially gets upset by Cal. Oh my gosh. Don't you love college football? Oklahoma's on upset alert. Everybody's on upset alert. USC 5-1. Facing off against a 4-1 Utah team. Utah is a very good football program. USC 13th in the nation. I don't know how. USC upset alert. Baylor 0-5, facing off against the number 14th ranked Oklahoma State, who is 4-1. Don't be surprised if Baylor gets their first win against Oklahoma State, who's a very good football team. Their only loss coming to the undefeated TCU Horned Frogs, who are 5-0, number 6 in the land. And to me, the best team in the Big 12. There shouldn't even be a championship game. TCU is, if they go undefeated in the Big 12, there is no championship game. They're number 1, rightfully so. Otherwise, they're going to have to play a team that they've already played. And that's not fair. That's not fair. Oklahoma State, you're on upset alert. Michigan coming off of a tough loss against rival Michigan State, facing off against a 3-2 Indiana team who to me looked very impressive defensively against Ohio State. Michigan number 17 in the land. That game is at 12 o'clock p.m. and y'all know the drill. Michigan, upset alert. South Florida, 5-0. Very, very, very underrated. Number 18th in the land, facing off against a 2-4 Cincinnati team. This, to me, is probably the only team. I'm not going to put South Florida on upset alert. But you know what? Everybody else is. So South Florida, upset alert. It's upset alert Saturday. Upset alert weekend in college football, because I'm going to tell y'all something. A lot of these games that are going on, you cannot write off these teams. Boise State, 3-2, facing off against an undefeated San Diego State team, ranked 19th in the land. San Diego State is riding high, but Boise State is known for doing what Boise State does. San Diego State, upset alert. North Carolina State, 5-1, ranked 20th in the nation, coming off of a huge win against Louisville. I told y'all NC State is for real. But Pittsburgh knows how to beat people at times. NC State, you run NC State in the top 25 could be short-lived. I don't know. Y'all really think NC State takes that? But because it's upset weekend, I'm putting NC State on upset alert. There's something in the air. There is something in the air. Michigan State, number 21 in the land, 4-1, facing off against Minnesota, who's 3-2. I'm thinking Michigan State takes that one, y'all. But you never know. The Golden Gophers may come away with that one. I don't know. Anyway, Michigan State upset alert too. Let's put them on upset alert. They're riding high after that win against Michigan. UCF 4-0, ranked 22 in the land, facing off against a 1-5 East Carolina team. I think UCF takes that, but it's still upset alert weekend. Oregon 4-2, coming off of a loss last week, facing off against number 23 ranked Stanford, who's 4-2 also. Stanford, goodbye to the top 25. Oregon takes that game. Upset alert. Texas Tech, number 24 in the land at 4-1. Who knew Texas Tech was in the top 25? Anyway, it's going to be short-lived. West Virginia's 3-2. They're not going to play with Tech. Texas Tech, upset alert. Navy, facing off against Memphis, 4-1, who handled UCLA earlier in the year. Navy 5-0, 25th in the nation. Chalk up their first loss. Navy is also another team who's hard to play against defensively. Their offense is very good, hard to prepare against, but I think Memphis comes away with that win. And then Eastern Michigan 2-3 facing off against Army. Army's 4-2. No upset alert there. No ranked team there, but I think Army takes that game from Eastern Michigan. Mississippi State 3-2, the ones that knocked off LSU. Brigham Young, BYU 1-5. I'm taking Mississippi State in that one. Temple against UConn. UConn 1-4. Temple 3-3 on the season. Chalk one up for UConn there. South Carolina and Tennessee. Tennessee is struggling, but they're starting to bounce back, and I think they continue their momentum against South Carolina to make a statement and save face for their organization, for their school. I'm chalking that one up for Tennessee. Iowa State 3-2 facing off against 1-4 Kansas team. Iowa State played extremely well against Oklahoma, and I think they continue that ride, and they beat Kansas. Florida State 1-3, y'all. Florida State 1-3, coming off of the loss to Miami that hadn't happened in years against a 4-2 Duke team. And as much as people say, look on the schedule and say, well, Duke is the better team, I think that Florida State comes up with a W here. I think that Florida State just has too many athletes for Duke. Duke, who also lost to Miami. Rutgers 1-4 facing off against a 2-3 Fighting Illini team. I don't really care who wins that one. Let's chalk it up for the Fighting Illini. Louisville 4-2 fell out of the top 25. Do you think that that's fair? Well, they got 2 losses on the season. As good as that offense is, that offense led by Lamar Jackson, who is the offense, facing off against a 2-4 Boston College team who cannot match that speed. Louisville takes that one easily and jumps back in the top 25 after this week. UNLV 2-3 facing off against a 1-4 Air Force team. UNLV takes that dub. Old Dominion 2-3 against a 4-1 Marshall team. Marshall can make some noise here if they come away with the win. That game's at 2:30 p.m. Miami of Ohio facing off against Kent State. Miami 2-4. Miami of Ohio, that is. Kent State 1-5. I think Miami takes that one. Akron 3-3 against a 4-2 Western Michigan team. Western Michigan, the Broncos, taking that one, I'm thinking. Ohio 4-2 against a 1-5 Bowling Green. Ohio, chalk it up. Give them a dub already. Toledo 4-1 against a 3-3 Central Michigan team. The Chippewas, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Who do you call it? Let's call it for Toledo. And then Vanderbilt 3-3 facing off against a 2-3 Mississippi team. Chalk it up for the Commodores. Northern Illinois playing very well. 3-2 facing off against a 3-3 Buffalo team. Northern Illinois, I think they walk away with that one easy. Juwan Johnson, New Boston native there, y'all. Got to represent for him. Trudell Wright, what's good, man? Y'all, don't forget, if you're looking at this live, if you're on the Spreaker app, you can hit us up in the chat. Follow us on Twitter at Dmgaming5. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/C/Dmgaming06. The DM Gamer Morning Show, y'all. Going through some college football games. Got a couple more here. Virginia 4-1 against North Carolina 1-5. We're taking Virginia in that one. Maryland 3-2 against Northwestern 2-3. Surprisingly, y'all, I'm going with Northwestern. Colorado 3-3 against Oregon State 1-5. I think the Beavers pulled one out the hat and beat Colorado there. Houston 4-1 against a 1-5 Tulsa team. I'm going with the Cougs. Wyoming 3-2 against Utah State, who is 3-3. That's going to be a close game, I think. But I think Wyoming pulls away with the W there. Charlotte 0-6. Busting into that big time play now, boys. facing off against Western Kentucky, who's 3-2. I would not be surprised if Charlotte doesn't get their first win of the season there. Georgia State 2-2 against Louisiana Monroe 3-2. Trudell said he's going with Central Michigan. I don't know, Trudell. I don't think Central Michigan wins against Toledo, but we'll see. Anyway, Georgia State against Louisiana Monroe. I think Monroe takes that one. And then Appalachian State against against Idaho. Sorry, y'all. That game's at 5 p.m. I think Appalachian State takes that one. New Mexico State 2-4 against Georgia Southern, who's 0-4. Go ahead, Georgia Southern. Get you a win on the column. Middle Tennessee 3-3 against UAB 3-2. I think the Blazers take that one. Tulane 3-2 against Florida International 3-2. Let's chalk that one up for Florida International. Something about those Florida athletes down there chasing those cottontails. UTEP 0-6 against a 3-2 Southern Miss team. UTEP, you officially just became 0-7. Then a big game in the SEC. Texas A&M 4-2 facing off against a 3-2 Florida team. Both teams coming off of close losses. I think the Aggies pull that one out. Let me see if I can get it pulled back up. Something about the PlayStation, y'all. And I heard something outside. That's why I got quiet. I think my laptop's out there. But the show must go on. University of Texas in San Antonio 3-1 facing off against North Texas 3-2, y'all. I think UTSA takes that one. Give it to the Roadrunners. Coastal Carolina against Arkansas State. I'm chalking it up to Arkansas State. UCLA 3-2 against a 3-2 Arizona State team. I'm giving it to UCLA. And then Fresno State 3-2 against New Mexico 3-2. Give it to Fresno. Nevada or Nevada, however you pronounce it, 1-5 against Colorado State 4-2. Give it to the Rams at Colorado State. Also, San Jose State 1-6 against a 2-4 Hawaii team. San Jose, give them the dub. Massachusetts 0-6 against a 5-0 Florida team, ranked 18th in the land. That game was canceled. That's why that game was canceled. That's a non-conference game. You know, the conference games are more important. That's why South Florida is playing Cincinnati instead. That's the games. The big highlighted games to watch is y'all guys definitely want to pay attention to those top 10, top 25 teams, because I'm telling y'all, upset alert Saturday. There's going to be some big time games in college football, and this week will determine, to me in my eyes, who could we be potentially looking at for a strong case in the NCAA playoffs. Bam. Bam. Now, to ride out how we've been riding out, a keeping it real moment. I'm opening the door, see what was outside. It could just be windy, guys. Yes, that was just the wind. Oh my gosh, I thought my laptop was out there, but it's not. That was just the wind. So, like I said, the show must go on. Can we keep it real? It's time for the Keeping It Real segment. Okay. Keeping it real. Our president, Donald Trump, is at it again on Twitter. And it's sad. It's really sad. Trump, and this article is coming from Reuters. Trump calls for tax law changes for NFL over protests. Yes, you heard it. October 10th, 2017, 5:32 a.m. It was updated 7 minutes ago by Reuters staff. The article reads, okay, yeah, they definitely added. Let's read the article. Washington, Reuters. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday the National Football League should not be given tax breaks, wading back into his criticism of the league over silent protests during the national anthem. This was his tweet. Why is the NFL getting massive tax breaks, while at the same time disrespecting our anthem, flag, and country? Change tax law, Trump wrote in a post on Twitter. Are you serious? I'm going to finish this and then we're going to dive into it being real. It was not clear what exactly Trump was demanding, and representatives for the White House did not immediately reply to a request for comment. The NFL gave up its federal tax exempt status in 2015, according to media reports, although U.S. states and localities still offer the multi-billion-dollar league tax breaks in order to attract teams and to finance stadiums. So let me say that again. The NFL gave up its federal tax exempt status in 2015. So that means the NFL is still paying taxes. However, the states where certain teams are at still gives them tax breaks to incentivize teams to come to their states. While the federal, they may pay federal taxes in those states that allow, which Texas doesn't do state taxes. Some states do. They're still doing it. Trump has been on a tear for weeks against NFL players who kneel during the national anthem played before games, saying the gesture disrespects the country. He strongly worded call last month for players who did this to be fired, touched off, an initially sharp response, including for some team owners and coaches. The player silent demonstration, which began last year in protest against police violence towards racial minorities, was embraced more widely in reaction to Trump's more recent comments, with more players taking a knee while others chose to lock arms. A number of Republican lawmakers suggest in September that tax sweeteners should end, given the protests, the Washington Post reported. On Sunday, Vice President Mark Pence, which we talked about that yesterday, walked out of an NFL game after some players knelt. Separately, Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones said he would bench players who disrespect the U.S. flag. We'll attack that too. On Monday, cable sports network ESPN was drawn into the fray when it suspended one of its broadcasters after she posted a tweet about the protest and Jones's comments. We'll get into that too. ESPN, which is owned by Walt Disney Company, go figure, said it was Jamil Hill's second violation of his social media guidelines. You know, go and read this article, y'all. It's on Reuters.com, www.reuters, that's spelled REUTERS.com. Because if I need some time to dive into this. In a separate Twitter post on Tuesday, Trump exonerated Hill, saying that with her at the mic, it's no wonder ESPN ratings have tanked. In fact, tanked so badly, it's the talk of the industry. See, this is where I get pissed off. You are the freaking president of the United States. You are not in a reality show anymore. You are no longer celebrity status. You are supposed to be commander in chief. You are supposed to be the go-to guy for this country, the free world, the leader of the free world. And yet you are still attacking people who are irrelevant on the political scale on Twitter. Grow up, Donald Trump. I don't even feel right calling him president, because there's nothing presidential about him. If there was any president who has abused their authority, it seems to be this guy. He's always attacking people, talking about ratings. Who gives a crap about ratings when you're the president of the United States? How about your approval ratings? You want to talk about ratings, Donald Trump? I don't think your approval ratings are very high, my friend. But whenever anybody speaks out against it, it has to be fake news. No. Y'all, I play online with people from other countries on Destiny and games like that. And the image that the United States is getting is not a very good one. It's not a very good one. But that is absurd. ESPN's ratings are down because of Jamil Hill. No, maybe ESPN's ratings are down because people are tired of hearing about Donald Trump and these protests and the Cowboys this and the Cowboys that. People are really getting tired of it. Because it's a back and forth thing, y'all. When it still boils down to this, nobody is talking about the reason for the protest. And I will say this for the umpteenth million time. They are not protesting the anthem. It is a shame, Trudell. It's a shame. And then Jerry Jones. I told y'all, I said I was not happy with what Jerry Jones did. To me, it was a cop-out. Because the NFL stood in agreement. We talked about this a little yesterday. The NFL stood together, unity. And what did Jerry Jones do? Something different. Now, let me tell y'all something. People say, well, it's Jerry's business. It's his team. He can do whatever he wants. Not so fast there, my friend, because while he could bench a player and they would have to sit, they could easily take that to court and they would easily win. Because first of all, it's a violation of the First Amendment rights. Second of all, there is no law. There is no bylaw. There is nothing in writing that says by the NFL that those players have to stand for the anthem. Yes, they are to be present on the field, but they don't have to stand. And then anybody forget the fact that what the knee came from in the first place? Did anybody forget to mention that? Because let's be real. Colin Kaepernick is behind this entire movement. It was for racial inequality and social injustice. And he sat, but he spoke. There was a veteran who used to play football who got in contact with Colin Kaepernick, voiced his concern. He said it himself. Colin Kaepernick contacted me, wanted to meet and sit down with me, and I respected that. He said at first he was irate at the fact that he would disrespect the flag by sitting down, but they came together, they talked, and the military veteran, said, why don't you kneel instead of sitting? That's what they came to, because kneeling is a sign of respect. Fallen soldiers, people who go to the graves of fallen soldiers, they kneel at their grave as a sign of respect. Look at the logos. So the kneeling was actually put in place by a military vet. So this begs the question, y'all, is it really about kneeling? Is it really about the anthem and the flag? No, it's not. It's systematic racism, systematic oppression. Call it what it is. Because let's be real, if Colin Kaepernick had knelt, people saying it's about the military. Y'all know how I feel about people hiding behind the military. If Colin Kaepernick had have knelt and said this, I'm kneeling because of the unfair treatment of vets in this nation, because they come home, they don't have anywhere to stay, they're not given jobs, they don't have money, and nobody's doing anything about it. This is why I'm kneeling. Would you still have a problem with the kneeling? And I know what people are going to say, no, because he's doing it for the military. No, my friend. Everybody's saying kneeling for the anthem is disrespectful no matter what it is. But I guarantee you people wouldn't have an issue with it. The issue is not the kneeling. The issue is the reason behind the kneeling, because America doesn't want to face its problems. Because in order for them to recognize that racial inequality is going on in this nation, that social injustice is going on in this nation, that means that somebody is going to have to be held accountable. And a lot of people are going to have to eat their words. Jamel Hill, okay, it was in their policy. I can't argue with that. You signed a contract that was in your policy. You knew that they had these rules in place. Fine. But I'm proud of her. I still applaud her because she spoke up and she used her platform. I think it was a cop-out by ESPN. But Trump uses that as fuel to say, oh, this is why the ratings are down. And you know what's crazy? The anthem, the protest during the anthem actually kind of started to die down some. Until Trump lit that fire. And then it started to kind of die down again. People kind of started getting back to normal as far as NFL goes. And then bam, here comes Pence. So they talking about us bringing politics into football. No, your commander in chief and his puppet is doing it. Trudell Wright said a Green Beret told him that sitting anthem is a little disrespectful, but taking a knee is more honorable. Yes, Trudell, that's exactly the story that I'm talking about. The guy's a Green Beret. A military veteran is the reason Colin Kaepernick is kneeling. Now, the veteran himself would not have knelt. But people trying to say that it's disrespectful to the military when a military person is the literal reason that they are kneeling instead of sitting. It's not about kneeling. Then the media twisted, tries to say that, oh, they're protesting the anthem. No, they're not. They're protesting during the anthem. It's a difference. There's a big difference. But Trump taking another shot at the NFL, talking about tax breaks. Let me tell y'all a little bit of history. Trump used to own the USFL. Trump wanted to own a team in the NFL. They didn't want him in there. Trump ended up, as y'all know, the NFL ended up winning out. You see what I'm saying? The NFL ended up winning out. The USF ended up folding. Trump is bitter, man. Y'all can't tell. Why do you think he's going to such great lengths to attack the NFL? It ain't got nothing to do with patriotism. It ain't got nothing to do with the anthem or the flag. Because heck, it wasn't until 2009 when players was made to be on the field for the anthem. Trudell said, to be honest, there is not many people in the millions that like standing for the flag unless it's in public. That is true. That is fact, Trudell. When the anthem is playing at home, do y'all stand for it? No. You supposed to. Did you look up the flag code? People say, well, there's not a flag present. Look up the flag code. It tells you if there's not a flag present, you are to stand with your hand on your heart and face where the music is coming from, which is your TV. But y'all sit down with your chips in your hand. Half of y'all reaching in the cooler for a beer. But that's what I'm saying. Trudell, you are exactly right. That people do. You get like that in public. I don't have an issue with people standing. You don't see me complaining because people standing for the anthem. That's you. That's all it means. Go ahead and do that. But like I told y'all yesterday, the anthem was not written. If people wanted to protest the anthem, they have every right to, because that anthem is racist. If you don't believe me, go and read the entire anthem, not just the part that they put in a song. The anthem wasn't written with black people in mind. The flag wasn't raised with people of color in mind. This nation wasn't founded with people in color in mind. It wasn't. But what do they tell us? Okay, look, it's not as bad as it used to be. We're not killing you guys anymore. We're not hanging you and lynching you anymore. And we do give you some sort of humanity. And then we're paying you millions of dollars to entertain us. Just shut up and go along with it. No, we can't shut up no more, man. I was born in America. I don't even like being called African American. And you want to know why? Because I know nothing about Africa. I think it's a disrespect to Africa to call blacks in America African Americans, because the majority of us couldn't tell you Africa's history. And let's be real, Africa is a continent, but yet people speak of Africa as if it's a country. Africa is a continent. I don't know about Africa's history as a continent. I don't know what country in Africa that my ancestors supposedly come from. Truth be told, y'all, there were some blacks who were native to the Americans, but they're not going to tell you that. The Native Americans, they didn't look how they look today. The reason the Native Americans have that European-esque light skin, long, silky hair was because of a thing called whitewashing. Go and look it up. Go and look up the Aborigines in Australia, the native people of color to Asia. Go look it up. Don't take my word for it. Research it yourself and your mind will be blown away. I'm just saying. Even yesterday, Christopher Columbus. We've been taught all of these lies like this man was the reason America stands, when this man in fact committed rape, lies, genocide, and yet we honor him and celebrate him as a government holiday. No. Yesterday, it's not Christopher Columbus Day. No, not yesterday. That day, that holiday is gone. It's Native Americans Day in honor of those Native Americans who lost their lives. That's what it is. But this flag stuff, y'all, is getting old. It's getting old. When are people going to start looking at the reason the individuals were kneeling in the first place instead of them kneeling? They already kneel. They're going to continue to kneel. And Jerry Jones, boy, you a joke. Here's what makes me upset about these players in the NFL, though. Especially the ones, the Dallas Cowboys, Miami Dolphins, any ones that on the team that the coach is saying, if you kneel, you don't play. And I'm not trying to come off as racist or anything. Y'all know I like to keep it real. And so let's keep it real. Take those people of color, take those black athletes off the field and tell me if you still have an NFL. I don't think so. People will say, oh, the NFL existed before blacks was in the league. And that is true. But the level that the NFL is at right now, do you think the majority of America would watch if those black athletes who are on the field were no longer on the field? You talk about some ratings going down. Let me tell you this, y'all. It's not about hatred. I don't even think part of it is about racism. It's about money. And if these black athletes that are on the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins teams and other teams that says this, if they ever get it through their thick skull that they are the ones who run the show? Huh. But you know what's crazy? You want to know why this will never work? Because there'll be some black guy, some black athlete who's willing to do what Massa say do for that dollar bill. That's why it won't work. But if those people of color, if we people of color came on one accord and said, it don't matter, we ain't doing this, it'll be some big moves going on. But like I said, look, Ezekiel say he takes a knee, Dak Prescott takes a knee, Dez Bryant takes a knee, they get sit or get kicked off the team or whatever. Guess what? It's going to be a running back, a black quarterback, and a black wide receiver that's willing to take their spot all for the money. I don't care. I'll stand for that money. It's sad. It's sad. You got black billionaires in America who could easily start their own football league. Which one would get more ratings? Which one would be more entertaining to watch? Which one would be more successful? This is just keeping it real. And that's what I do. I keeps it real. It is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. It's all about that money, man. It's all about the money. And Jerry Jones and these other owners, they checking these players, man. They checking them. And they getting checked. Because ain't no Dallas Cowboy player gonna kneel. They're not gonna do it. I wish they would. I wish the best players on the team would do it. And see what Jerry Jones does. You can't sit the whole team. Y'all want to talk about unity? Challenge the owner. They ain't gonna do it. That's where that money coming from. And people say, well, you wouldn't do it on your job either. Well, they not playing the national anthem at my job. You see what I'm saying? If the anthem is so important to Americans, why are they not playing it on all of our jobs? Why is it not a law that we have to stand for the anthem? I'll tell you why. Because it goes against your First Amendment right. But see, that's what they're trying to do, y'all. They're trying to take away your rights. That's why they're pushing the whole flag stuff. They want to make it a law to where you have to stand for the pledge. They're trying to take away your First Amendment right. They're trying to take away your Second Amendment right to bear arms. I'm telling you, bit by bit. They don't want a democracy no more. People talked about Obama was going to be the dictator. Sounds like Trump is to me. Did you hear Obama ever talking about ratings and all this stuff? Seriously, all the stuff going on in the world and you on Twitter tweeting about ratings and stuff like that. What about the hurricane that hit New Orleans? What about the people in Puerto Rico? What about the wildfires in California? What about the Vegas stuff? No, but you on here talking about ESPN and ratings and the NFL. I think even Trump supporters are to the point now where they're just like, dude, just leave the NFL alone. Can we just get the NFL to go back to how it used to be? I'll leave y'all with this question. How can black people protest? Because we've done it silently. We've done it violently. We've done it every way and people still won't listen. Please, for those of y'all who have a problem with every way that black people protest in this nation, give me a way that black people can protest that would make you listen. Because doing it behind closed doors is not an option because that's what they tell you. Do it quietly in your home or in your communities. Oh, no, you mean do it where we can't see it, where we're not forced to look at it. I'll leave y'all with that. Till next time, y'all, and God bless.